family has had 3 daughters, so they're bound to have a son next.
Wrong. This is a gambler's fallacy, when you're assuming the history of outcomes will affect future outcomes. If an author makes a claim based on only the evidence of the effects of a prior example, when in reality those have no effect on the present, then they have made a gambler's fallacy. Women usually live longer than men, so your grandma is going to outlive your grandpa.
Wrong. That's a sweeping generalization, which is applying a general rule too broadly. If an author makes a very specific claim on a base that is too broad to apply to that specific instance, then they are making a sweeping generalization. The consumption of vitamin C directly leads to eyesight loss, thus we need to ban this product.
Wrong. That's a fallacy of a lie, an outright untruth repeatedly, unknowingly, as fact. If an author tries to make a claim on the basis of a fact that is not true but false, then they have used the logical fallacy of a lie. You're clearly wrong about Miss Jones blackmailing Miss Brown, because Miss Brown doesn't have any money to her name. What can Miss Jones possibly gain?
I never argued that she was blackmailing her for the money, just for the personal satisfaction of seeing her old enemies scared. You've committed the straw man fallacy, which is creating a distorted or simplified caricature of your opponent's argument and then arguing against that instead. If an author misstates a contradicting argument and proves that wrong instead of proving the actual argument wrong, then they have committed the straw man fallacy. This man was seen walking out of the ice cream parlor down the street from the bank robbery a couple of hours before the robbery happened. Ignore the other suspects. This guy is clearly the man we're looking for.
Wrong. That's a red herring fallacy, which is introducing irrelevant material to the argument to distract and lead towards a different conclusion. If an author presents a claim or piece of evidence that is not relevant to the main argument, then they are distracting attention away from the main argument and thus using a red herring. Mrs. Green lived to be 93 years old and smoked every day since she was 18. Therefore, smoking is neither harmful nor detrimental to lifespan.
Wrong. That's the anecdotal evidence fallacy, which is discounting evidence arrived at by systematic search or testing in favor of a few first-hand stories. If the author uses isolated examples that rely on personal testimonials to support or refute claims, an anecdotal evidence fallacy is being utilized. Why should we listen to the opinion of billionaire Jeff Bezos on economic equality?
We shouldn't. This is a genetic fallacy, attacking the claim or origin of a claim rather than its substance. When the author either accepts or declines a particular claim based solely on the origin rather than judging it by its quality. You should start using the Blake Brown products because it was created by Blake Lively and her hairs always look good.
Nope, that's the appeal to authority fallacy, which is claiming something is true because an expert, whether qualified or not, says it is. If an author insists that a claim is true solely because an expert or validated authority says it, without additional evidence, an appeal to authority fallacy is being utilized. If you're trying to become more popular at school, you should probably start wearing the latest fashion trends.
What? That's appeal to novelty, which is supposing something is better because it is new or newer. If an author refers to something as new or modern and superior to the usual standards solely based on how new it is, then it is an appeal to novelty fallacy. A survey from a local hospital concludes that 80% of patients desire new hospital gowns. Therefore, we can conclude that 80% of all patients reporting to that hospital will also desire new hospital gowns as well.
Actually, that's the biased generalization fallacy, which is generalizing from an unrepresentative sample to increase the strength of your argument. If an author draws conclusions from a biased population and refers to it as the usual standard in order to make it appear that the population is average, a biased generalization is being utilized.